who's behind the curtain, pushing the buttons and pulling the handles. Live from behind enemy lines in FEMA Region 9. Sharing the truth, one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network. And this is the Views Expressed live, right here on the 29th of September 2014. I am your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. How are you today on this Monday? Yes, I am live. Isn't it fun? Really? It's Monday. I know you're out there going, fun? What's so fun about Monday? Well, I'll tell you. It's beginning of the week. It's beginning of something new. Unless you got your same old boring job and you're all pissed off that, you know, your boss doesn't recognize you. I think it's time for you to consider another career. But anyway, we got a lot going on today. FreeAmericaRadio.us is the website. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com is the email address. And Free America Radio on Facebook is where I would like you to go right now. Got a lot to talk about. Got a lot to share. Unless you're more interested in George Clooney getting married, then this ain't the place for you. Harvard says fluoridated water is causing cognitive disorders. I'll be reading that after the break as well. Also from freedomoutpost.com, smoking gun. Evidence that the New York Federal Reserve serves the interest of Goldman Sachs. I think we knew that. Also, worldtruth.tv, electronic tattoo. To track your medical information. Is this the prelude to the mark of the beast? And also, Pentagon plans for telepathic troops who can read each other's minds. And they can be here within the next 5 years. Of course, Susanna Cole from Guerrilla Media Network put this up as well. Former Congressman James Traficant passed away on the 27th at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time in Youngstown, Ohio. Mr. Traficant was a loyal friend of Guerrilla Media Network and a frequent guest on the Pete Santilli Show. We are saddened. His voice will be missed. James Traficant was fearless in the face of tyranny and will be remembered by us always as a true patriot. Condolences to his family and friends and to the American people. We wish you God's speed. What do we do, folks? I don't think... Well, he had a tragic accident. Tractor accident, which is, of course, tragic. And everybody's coming unglued and saying he was murdered. Somebody came out and blah, 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 whatever. The guy's dead. Okay? I would not be too surprised if there was something up, but I don't have anything in front of me to prove to me that this is what happened. All I heard was that he had a tractor accident on his farm in Youngstown, Ohio. So, you can go from there. Also on the Free America Radio Network, we have the Wayne S. Pierce Show, my show. Sometimes Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays live, most of the time in podcast form. So go check that out at the WayneSPierceShow.weebly.com site. You can email me with your questions, comments, concerns, even if you disagree with me at freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. You can also go to the website at freeamericaradio.us. I shall return right after this. Don't wait until another natural or man-made disaster strikes. Have at least 72 hours of emergency gear near you at all times, and that includes food. Get your emergency food supply today. Go to freeamericaradio.us and at the top of the page, click on the emergency food supply link. Help your family by purchasing as much emergency food supply as you need. You'll be helping out your family and Free America Radio Network. Thank you. Catch up on the latest news and controversy and more on The Spencer Hughes Show on Spreaker.com and SpencerHughes.net. Don't wait until another natural... Imagine a towering skyscraper with numerous floors, and each floor represents a different level of existence. Matter, spirits, angels, ghosts, extraterrestrials, quantum physics, biology, neuroscience, religion, metaphysics, even paranormal studies, all have their place in The Grid. The Grid, Exploring the Hidden Infrastructure of Reality, by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman. Available at Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. Showing you who's behind the curtain, pushing the buttons and pulling the handles. Live from behind enemy lines in FEMA Region 9. Sharing the truth, one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network. Hey, folks, welcome. This is the Views Express live right here on the Free America Radio Network for the 29th of September 2014. How are you today? Oh, it's Monday. It's been a long weekend. Yeah, well, it's only long when you don't have anything to do. Does that ever happen to you? Oh, man, I'm telling you. So, yeah. Lots of things going on this week, but let me get into this one story I saw earlier. And I talked about it a little bit at the beginning if you were here for the first 5 minutes of the show. TheFreeThoughtProject.com. Harvard says fluoridated water is causing cognitive disorders. Matt Agorist put this up back on the 10th of March, 2014. And this is from Christina Sarich of Infowars.com from the 10th of March, 2014. A newly published study in Harvard's The Lancet weighs in on the toxins causing autism and ADD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder. Researchers from the Harvard School of Public Health and the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai say that along with these numerous environmental toxins, fluoridated water is adding to the higher incidence of both cognitive and behavioral disorders. Harvard had already published a study in 2006 that pointed to fluoride as a, quote, developmental neurotoxicant. Neurotoxicant, that's what it is. Developmental neurotoxicant, unquote. And this newer study looks to over 27 additional investigations into the matter via meta-analysis. In the previous study, it was already established that fluoride consumption lowered children's IQ scores. The leftover from industry passed off as medicine obstructs brain development and can cause a spectrum of serious health issues, from autism to dyslexia, ADHD, ADD, and more. The study calls the effects from this chemical a quote-unquote silent epidemic that mainstream media and many scientific papers have ignored. Two of the main researchers involved in the study, Philippe Grandjean from HSPH and Philip Landrigan from ISMMS, say that incidences of chemical-related neurodevelopment disorders have doubled over the past 7 years from 6 to 12. The study admits that there are numerous chemicals to blame, many of which are untested or ceremoniously approved by the FDA, USDA, CDC, without truly knowing their long-term ramifications on human health. But that fluoride is a definitive, or I should say a definite culprit. Quote, since 2006, the number of chemicals known to damage the human brain more generally, but that are not regulated to protect children's health had increased from 202 to 214, unquote, writes Julia Madu from the Sydney Morning Herald. Quote, the pair said that this could be the tip of the iceberg because the vast majority of the more than 80,000 industrial chemicals widely used in the United States have never been tested for their toxic effects on developing fetuses or children, unquote. Now, let me stop right there and say this. I really want to urge people to look into the fluoride controversy, because fluoride was used in the Nazi death camps to calm people. Continuing, the fact that this fluoride, pesticide, herbicides, heavy metals, radioactive isotopes, GMO foods, and weather warfare chemicals are creating a neurological toxic mix that is unprecedented in human history. That's a fact. Fluoride, like other toxins, accumulates in the bloodstream and even makes it past the blood-brain barrier. Eventually, as the body tries to protect itself from these unwanted substances, the substances make it into the bones and the organs, causing cancer, cognitive abnormalities, and even birth defects in unborn children. Fluoride is known to pass into the placenta in pregnant women, yet regulatory agencies ignore its toxic legacy. The chemicals lurking in our food supply, water supply, and in our air and soil are causing the neurological decline of both young and old. And this article first appeared in Natural Society website. Okay. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Why are you putting poisons in your body? You drink, you smoke, you do illicit drugs, blah, 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 and they're killing you. Also, why are you allowing certain companies to come into your town and fool around with your water supply? That's one aspect of it. The other aspect is that your personnel in your water districts and in your water companies are told to put this stuff in there, to put fluoride and all these other additives in there. Fluoride's good for the teeth. No, it's not. Okay. I find it incredibly odd. Just odd that people would know, they would say that, oh yeah, it's fine, but they ignore the fact that there's an insert somewhere for the vaccines, and they're speaking of fluoride, of course. There's toothpaste where the box used to say, do not put anything larger than a dime size, little dollop or whatever of toothpaste on your brush, because anything else after that is not good. Anything more than that, actually. And people just ignore it. They don't really care. You know, and it's always, oh, it's good for you, I have to take more. Really? Seriously? Seriously? I don't know. Let's go on to the next article. Now, I did a podcast earlier, and I mentioned this, and I read a few things for this as well. And it goes on, but let me... I want to say this because it's incredible that anybody would ever ignore this, especially those people in New York. From freedomoutpost.com, smoking gun, evidence that the New York Federal Reserve serves the interest of Goldman Sachs. I think we knew that already, right? For years, many people have suspected the New York Fed is more or less controlled by the too big to fail banks. Well, now we have the smoking gun evidence that it is indeed the case. A very brave lawyer named Carmen Segarra made a series of audio recordings while she was working for the New York Fed. The 46 hours of meetings and the conversations that she recorded are being called the Ray Rice video of financial sector because of the explosive content that they contain. What these recordings reveal are regulators that are deeply afraid of doing anything that may harm or embarrass Goldman Sachs, and it is quite understandable why Segarra's colleagues at the New York Fed would feel this way. A recent Bloomberg article explained it has become, quote-unquote, common practice for regulators to leave, quote, their government jobs for much higher pays at the very banks they were meant to regulate, unquote. If you think that there is going to be a cushy, high-paying banking job for you at the end of the rainbow, you are unlikely to do anything that will mess that up. To say that the culture in New York Fed is differential to big banks such as Goldman Sachs would be a massive understatement. When Carmen Segarra when Carmen Segarra was first embedded at Goldman Sachs, she was absolutely horrified by what she was seeing and hearing, but her supervisors were so obsessed with covering up for Goldman Sachs that they actually pressured her to alter the notes that she took during meetings. And there's a lot in this article, folks. Please go read it. It's on Free America Radio on Facebook. Electronic tattoo to track your medical information. Is this the prelude to the mark of the beast? Interesting, though, huh? I mean, if it isn't, it's pretty interesting. If we look around and we see what's going on, we have to wonder, man, and it is a proven statistic, by the way, that more people are using their cards than they are using cash. Is that kind of scary or what? I mean, think of it this way. You walk into a store, you see something you want, you look in your wallet, you have no cash. You're like, oh man, but you have that plastic. Think about that for a minute. I know because I've read some documentation where you won't need cash. As a matter of fact, this particular article I posted yesterday, and I got reamed for supplying the evidence for implants and RFIDs. I got reamed. And this person was just totally, absolutely stupid. I'm just going to say it. And when I read this article and when I put it up and all that, and I got the responses that I did and everything, I just put it up. Here, look at this. This is interesting. Is this Mark of the Beast? And that, I went from there. Didn't even expect anyone to reply, but this one woman did. And when she did, she wasn't nice about it. But I could tell by the way I was reading it, and also by the way she typed it and posted the response to what I said about it, really made me dislike this person right off. Okay? WorldTruth.tv. Sounds like something out of George Orwell's book 1984, yet scientists have touted it as a major advancement in the field of medicine. Have you heard of the electronic tattoo, fully equipped with the ability to track patients' vital signs and report the findings to researchers? The technology is known as an epidermal electronic system, EES, and was developed by international team of researchers from the United States, China, and Singapore. When it comes to microchips, implants, or electronic tattoos, it sounds a little too futuristic, like these advances may be paving the way for government tracking of citizens, or worse. But some industries are promoting these high-tech ideas as major advancements in the field. The medical field is just one of those. If I can read, the medical field is just one place these ideas are gaining a foothold. According to the International Business Times, hospitals and doctors' offices may one day soon outfit their patients with temporary electronic tattoos. These little skin patches are said to carry a wealth of information in a tiny space and can reportedly help reduce medical errors without improving care, or while improving care. Excuse me. See, I can't read today. Electronic tattoos. All it is a tracking device, folks. That's all it is. And we already have one. It's called a cell phone. That's why many, many years ago somebody asked me if I would get a tattoo. No, I won't. I think on some people, not everyone, but on some people it looks fantastic. On others, not so much. So for me to even consider getting an electronic tattoo, that is completely and totally out of the question. Okay. But this will track you, folks. Guaranteed. I mean, they already do, don't they? Now, when we look at the technology that is out there right now, when we examine the technology, and you can go look up nanobots, N-A-N-O bots, and see what I'm talking about. When we develop technology that can go inside the body, I believe that humanity in its basic essence will change. As it is now, because we're leading up to that point. An electronic tattoo? How about an RFID chip in your hand? You won't need cash, wallet, credit card, or anything. Okay? So, what am I saying? Do not get the electronic tattoo. Just don't. From dailymail.co.uk, Pentagon plans for telepathic troops who can read each other's minds, and they could be in the field within 5 years. Interesting. The U.S. Army is dedicating millions of research dollars into discovering building helmets to allow soldiers to telepathically communicate with one another on the battlefield. The technology, which seems like something out of a science fiction novel, would use electrodes to pick up code words that soldiers were thinking. Those code words would be transmitted back to a computer where the soldiers' position and message telling, or for instance, that is... telling, for instance, that it's safe to progress towards a target, which would be transmitted to the peers in the field. So it's not literal telepathy. It's manufactured, like most things of the government are. If you go to startpage.com and go look up remote viewing, telepathic, psychic, military use, that kind of thing. You're going to see that's been going on for years. Okay? It's been going on for years. All right? It is interesting. But it's also dangerous. Imagine, if you will, you're walking through a store and you see a military personnel and you say, wow, I'm going to go up and shake his hand, thank him for his service, yada, yada, yada. But when he turns at you, he gives you that look like, get away from me. You see where this is headed, right? So I don't know. Do we not teach our military personnel how to do this? I mean, the ramifications of this if it gets into the, if this, and I'm not saying this hasn't already been done. I'm just saying, what if one of our people, military otherwise, gets kidnapped by somebody? You see what I'm saying? You see where that's going? See? Oh, man. Bottom of the hour break coming up. From WashingtonPost.com, as U.S. takes on the Islamic State, Al-Qaeda remains degraded but not defeated. That's interesting. Because basically Al-Qaeda has been co-opted and swallowed up by many other different people, and now they're called Khorasan or ISIS or whatever, and the United States has funded them, and now the United States wants to not have them around anymore, if you know what I mean. Interesting. Just interesting. Folks, I'm going to take a little break here. It's a little soon, but I'll be back in 2 minutes, 5 seconds. Don't go away. Come on back. FreeAmericaRadio.us is the website. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com. That's FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com is the email address. Hope to hear from you. And I shall return right after this. With her unique, fast-paced, witty sarcasm, Angel Clark brings you the news of the day with a creative twist. Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern on RadioFreedom.us. You can also listen to her live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Lock it on to the best station on the net.
The Free America Radio Network. Are you a filmmaker and want to make your epic feature film with no money, some money, and or all the money in the world? Listen to Christopher J. Taylor as he discusses everything you need to know about filmmaking and more on Film 101 on HTLA973.com. Hey, folks, welcome back. How you doing? Hey, I'm doing good. Hear me rambling there, right? Anyway. Welcome back. Go to freeamericaradio.us. If you want to sponsor the show, please do. Free America Radio Network is going to the next level, and you can be a part of that. Yes. If you want to sponsor the show, you can donate too, by the way. You don't have to sponsor the show. I would love to have your donations help Free America Radio Network get to the next level. Go to freeamericaradio.us. I take PayPal and Bitcoin. So if you're into the cryptocurrency, please send me a few, will you? Thank you. Appreciate that. Or if you're so inclined to do so, go to the top of the page. You'll see emergency food supply. Click on that and get as much as you need. And there's other links as well for emergency food supply. So get as much as you need, as much as you want. You'll be helping out your family, and you'll be helping out Free America Radio Network. So thank you for that. Appreciate that very much. Anyway, go to Free America Radio on Facebook. Salon.com. Who profits from our new war? Inside NSA and private contractors' secret plans. It's interesting, isn't it? People profit from war. Tim Shorrock wrote this for Salon.com. Thank you, Tim. Massive war operation is being waged to track and kill ISIS. And it's a lot more than cruise missiles. Let me just say this right now before I read this article. ISIS, Al-Qaeda, all of that, all of it, is a creation of the United States military-industrial complex and others around the world. Go back to the 70s. Go to startpage.com, look up Mujahideen. You'll find out that we even funded them back then. We need an enemy, folks. We need an enemy. We need someone to blame. And the only way to get money into the coffers of the United States of America through the corporations is to start a war. That's what we do. We go and divide and conquer and occupy. That's what we do. Okay? We don't go in peace. We go to peace negotiations with our guns pointed at them. And it's just... Let me read this article from Salon.com. Who profits from our new war? Inside NSA and private contractors' secret plans. A massive $7.2 billion Army intelligence contract signed just 10 days ago underscores the central role to be played by the National Security Agency and its army of private contractors in an unfolding air war being carried out by the United States and its Gulf states allies against the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. See, the thing is, folks, let me interject here. We are arming Khorasan, which is up near the eastern side of Iran. But we need Iran because they are, let's just say, they're the child we put in the other room. We can still hear them. They can still do whatever they want, but we've put them in the other room. And now we go to Iran and say, oh yeah, we see you have a problem. We'll bomb them and we'll help you out. When we were the ones that funded them, folks. Okay, do you get where this is going? Do you understand? Do you understand the insanity in all of this? Continuing, that war was greatly expanded Monday night when U.S. forces launched a mix of fighter, bomber, remotely piloted aircraft, and Tomahawk cruise missiles against ISIS targets in Syria. The Central Command said the strikes were led by the United States with support from Bahrain, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. See, folks, we have allies. INSCOM, INSCOM, quote-unquote, Global Intelligence Support contract will place the contractors at the center of this fight. It was unveiled on September 12th by the U.S. Army's Intelligence and Security Command. That's what INSCOM stands for, one of the largest military units that collects signals intelligence for the NSA. Under its term, 21 companies led by Booz Allen Hamilton. Go to startpage.com, look under Booz Allen Hamilton, B-O-O-Z, no E, Allen Hamilton, and BAE Systems, and Lockheed Martin, and, a big one, Northrop Grumman, will compete over the next 5 years to provide, quote, fully integrated intelligence, security, and information operations, unquote, in Afghanistan and, quote, future contingency operations, unquote, around the world. The NSA is best known to Americans for its awesome power to spy on the electronic communications of governments and populations around the world, but it also is a critical part of Pentagon chain of command, particularly during wartime, and collects most of its intercepted communications from a globe web of listening posts and military intelligence units operated by INSCOM and other armed services. INSCOM, which was created in 1978, has been at the cusp of U.S. policy in the wars on terror, from the initial campaign against the Taliban in the fall of 2001 to the latest war against ISIS. Much of the top secret work under the new INSCOM contract will take place at NSA's network or networks of listening posts and will, quote, support complex, classified, compartmented, and or unique ground-based and airborne reconnaissance and electronic intelligence collection and production systems, unquote, said the Pentagon. Quote, Army INSCOM supports NSA very heavily, unquote. Tony Schaefer, a former Army intelligence officer who worked at the command from 91 to 95, told Salon. While he was stationed in Afghanistan after 9/11 attacks, Schaefer said, quote, every mission I ran outside of the wire was pretty much supported by INSCOM, which is NSA's ground collector, unquote. Schaefer wrote about this, his experiences, in the book Operation Dark Heart. You understand what's happening, folks? Do you get it? Is it hard to really grasp? Because I don't think so. I think it's really easy to grasp once you open your eyes and see what's out in front of you. Okay? Have you ever, let me take you back to your school days in high school, junior high, somewhere around in there. And you talked about this big old ugly nasty guy that's around school, and he's just a real pain in the ass, and and you're all that, and you're standing in front of your friends talking about him, and they're trying to motion to you that He's behind you? You turn around and there's this big lug about 2 to 3 to 4 inches taller than you, and he's pretty pissed. Okay? Have you ever had that happen? Well, you see, in the world of geopolitics, the United States of America is that guy standing behind you. They're the ones pulling the handles and pushing the buttons. They're the ones who are creating the false flags like 9/11 and all of that to get you all dumbed down and all, full of fear. And here we are standing in front of you, myself and alternative media and independent media and people, in the same group, trying to motion to you that there's something behind you that's about ready to kick your ass. And you're sitting around going, hey man, who's going to win Dancing with the Stars? I want to make it clear because I don't want to leave anybody in a state of confusion. I am no fan of political parties. The political parties can go as far as I'm concerned. We don't need them. Matter of fact, we don't even need a centralized government. We don't need it. As a matter of fact, we don't need the Internal Revenue Service or the Federal Reserve Bank. And we sure as hell don't need corrupt politicians. We need to privatize the Social Security Administration and also the United States Postal Service. We also should very soon have a way to where you can insure your vehicle for life. You don't have to do it every year, whatever. In other words, no smog check, no nothing, nothing. You do it once, boom, you're done. You're done. All they do is tell you every year, oh, here's your new tag. That's all they do. You don't have to pay for it. It's already paid. You don't have to. Boom, done. They just say, here's a chart to show each year up to a certain year. Here's the color of the tags on your car, blah, blah, blah. Now, somebody would say, well, the next step to that is the national driver's license or national identification card. Folks, we already have that. We already have that. Because if you find a way to run your driver's license, a little strip on the back. Some of them I found have QR codes on the back as well. If you run that, you'll see. Yeah, you don't. No. It's a national identification card, folks. Okay. Now, here we are, though, talking about INSCOM, talking about the war profits, talking about all of this. Well, who profits from? Let's drive it over into this side of the street. Who profits from our military going to war in other countries to fight somebody else's civil war? Who profits from that? I can tell you that no one does. Well, I'm wrong. Someone does. And it's the corporations. It's the corporations that own the companies that have the military contracts for all of what the military needs. Many years ago, I worked in a warehouse. I was a warehouseman, and I was working there, and we got this order for the military. So I was in the warehouse, and I was packing this stuff up and shipping it off to the shipping area, and I saw the military numbers on the side. Generic military numbers. They were you know what they are, right? And this was in 91. And I got to tell you, after that, I thought to myself, who's making the money? Who has designed this global chess game? And who is benefiting from it? Folks, we are the pawns, we are the rooks, we are the knights, we are the bishops, we are the king and queens. But mostly we're the pawns. And we're the ones who suffer through all of their insanity. We're the ones who take from them the very thing that will cause our demise. Okay? So, where do we go from there? Again, who profits from these wars? We certainly don't. And here's something else, folks, from the Washington Times. This got me when I read this. When I read this just put me in a whole different mindset. From the Washington Times, under news, under political theater, Obama's breathtaking naivety at the United Nations.
President Obama
Okay.
in New York about
Stupid autoplays. Joseph Curl wrote this, posted it on the 24th of September 2014. President Obama on Wednesday delivered a speech at the United Nations filled with his usual soaring rhetoric of global collectivism and the importance of, quote-unquote, international norms. But the president also displayed a shocking naivete about global affairs, religion, Islam, a Pollyanna-ish interpretation on the state of the world and America's role in it. Although Mr. Obama won a Nobel Peace Prize just 8 months into his office, the president made his annual trip to the ineffectual World Council to deliver a call to war. Quote, "Ladies and gentlemen, we come together at a crossroads between war and peace, between disorder and integration, between fear and hope," unquote. You can read that on the Free America Radio Facebook page. Now, I covered this a little bit, or actually gave my opinion about this last week. From Breitbart.com, massive residential center to open in Texas for illegal immigrants. A large new immigrant housing center will be opened in South Texas. The South Texas Family Residential Center will ultimately hold 2,400 individuals, primarily families, who were apprehended while crossing the Texas-Mexico border. During their stay at the center, foreigners will be provided with taxpayer-funded, quote-unquote, medical care, playrooms, social workers, educational services, and access to legal counsel, unquote, Breitbart, Texas has learned. You can also go check that out on the Free America Radio Facebook page. I really how can I put this? How can I put this? We have a country that's turned upside down. We have a country where people have forgotten what the founding fathers taught us. And we have people under 30, under 25, who absolutely do not care about what happens to the United States as long as they get what they want. Well, if they want socialism, Marxism, fascism, or communism, they're headed in the right direction. I'm not even going to say this is a communist, fascist, socialist, Marxist nation yet, even though it may look like it. I will say that at the very basic, at the very heart of this country, we have patriots who will stick up, stand up, get involved with defending the freedoms and liberties that we have enjoyed for so long. But we also have a president that is totally and absolutely out of control, going around Congress, doing whatever he wants, and one who invited, if you will, the United Nations to bring troops into the United States. And if you don't believe me, then check that out. Foreign troops in the United States. You're going to find all sorts of articles about that, by the way. Some good, some bad, some indifferent, some opposing, some purporting, reporting that they're here, some reporting that they're not, that kind of thing. But the bottom line is, folks, is if we don't start paying attention, if we don't start accepting what is out there, this is going to be a Muslim nation with Sharia law. And the Constitution and the Bill of Rights will get thrown out the window. Well, if that's the case, then we have no other option but to defend this country. My question is, who has the balls to do so? My other question is this. Are you willing to stand with me? Are you willing to stand with me on the line to defend this nation from a diabolical, satanic cult called the Islamic faith? And I'll even go one further than that. The radical Islamic militants that want nothing to do with even their own people. Because, as some very peaceful, very moderate Muslims had said while being here in the United States, those radical jihadist militant Muslims are not part of our group. Their own people are denying them and pushing them aside. But when you realize that they're here, when you realize, as is on record, that terrorist cells are in the United States, when you recognize that and accept it, then I don't think the choice is going to be very, very difficult for you to make. Okay? When somebody, an enemy, a purported enemy, makes you change direction, then they have already won. And if you want to continue with this deluded fallacy you believe that, nothing's wrong and all of it's I just want to watch my Dancing with the Stars. If you want to stay in that type of mindset, then you go right ahead. But you'll wind up in one of those family residential facilities, or worse. Now, who's with me? Who's going to stand with me against the onslaught of this ideology that is cultic, diabolical, and deadly? Now, I know there are going to be some Muslims out there going to be emailing me saying, I'm not with them. Well, good. You and your kind better stand up to these militants that are taking your faith and screwing with it and shoving it in your face. You moderate, and peaceful Muslims in the United States better stand up, speak out, and get involved, like Brian Lang says over at Live Truth Radio. And you better shove them into the pits. And you better do it now. Because you're in America. You're an American citizen. You wanted this. You wanted to be here, and you wanted this freedom. And now a fraction or a faction or a sect of your own religion is now telling you that if you don't go along with them, they're going to kill you? I'll stand with you in defense of this nation. So who's with me? We see our people coming back with no legs, no arms. We see some of them that are pretty well fit, but they have prosthetics and they're still in the military. What do? They're behind the lines. They can't get out in the field anymore. I saw one segment on the news where a soldier came back with no legs. He went in, got 2 new legs. He went into rehab, and he is still in the military. But he's not on the front line anymore. Apparently, he finished out his term, and he left. I don't think... No. I know a person with common sense, no matter what their political or religious affiliation is, will want to stand for the freedom and liberty that they so enjoy in this nation. I don't condone violence, never have, never will. I do support defense. This is what I'm talking about. You've got a choice. You know why? Because you have free will. But the personal choices that you make right now within your political affiliation or your religious affiliation have already been made for you by the enemy at your door. Think about that one. And I don't want to hear from Christians who are going to say, well, all we got to do is pray and move God's heart. Blah, 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 blah. You are the most intolerant people I have ever met in my whole entire life. I've been a member of 2 different Christian churches when I was living in Stockton, California, and I can tell you this much right now. One church that I was a member of, very intolerant. Did not like the things I say and did not like anything that I talked about. The other one, oh, let me tell you. There were some very intolerant people in that one church, but some people that I saw away from the church and talked to them personally, oh, believe me, they would stand at the front line defending this country with everything they have. Okay? What do we do, folks? What do we do? Are you going to stand with Brian Lang and James Neighbors over at Overpasses for America? Are you going to stand with Brian Lang in Ohio on the overpasses, protesting? Well, my message to them is get off the damn overpasses and get downtown and protest down there. It's just incredible, folks. It's just incredible. I don't know where to go from there. If you cannot get out in the street and protest, you know, there are reasons why you can't, and I understand that. But when you're downtown, talk to people. When you're at the gas station, talk to people. When you're in the mall, talk to people. You know, that's all it takes. Folks, I'm going to go to break. Top of the hour break. I'll be back in a few minutes. freeamericaradio@usa.com is the email address. freeamericaradio@usa.com. You can go to the website and donate if you like. freeamericaradio.us. That's freeamericaradio.us. U.S.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates, online at thelibertybeat.com. I'm Brian Hagan with your Liberty Beat for Monday, September 29th, 2014. Gold opened today at $1,220, silver opened at $17.51, and Bitcoin is trading around $373.13. Today's Bitcoin price brought to you by ExpressCoin, the fastest and most reliable way to buy Bitcoin. Buy Bitcoin today at expresscoin.com. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Michael Cargill for Austin City Council District 1 campaign. Vote Michael Cargill to get the cars moving. Learn more or sign up to volunteer at cargillfortexas.com. Political advertisement paid for by the Michael Cargill for Austin City Council District 1 campaign. In the news today, civilians were killed while militants were wounded following Sunday night airstrikes in northern and eastern Syria. That word from the Britain-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, which is monitoring the war. According to the observatory, the airstrikes hit grain silos, mills, and other such targets instead of an Islamic State operations base. Reuters reports there has been no word from the Obama administration regarding the claims. On Saturday, hundreds of pro-Palestine protesters blocked an Israeli cargo ship from unloading at the Port of Oakland. Protesters wanted to express their anger with Israel's bombing of Palestinians in Gaza. The Stop Zim Action Committee organized the action against the Zim Shanghai ship. The protest marks the second time Israeli cargo ships were blocked after similar actions in California and Florida last month. Tomorrow, the activist group Fluoride Free Houston will be returning to the Houston City Council in a relaunched effort to end the practice of water fluoridation. The group first began lobbying the city in the summer of 2012, receiving support from 2 council members. Mayor Anise Parker, known for her environmental efforts, has yet to support the group. With the new campaign, the group hopes to educate Houston City Council members about the arguments against water fluoridation. Fluoride Free Houston member Derek Rose spoke about the group's mission.
Fluoride Free Houston aims to bring an end to water fluoridation in the city by raising awareness of city council members and citizens on the fact that it is a financial waste, a health hazard, an environmental hazard, it's a violation of civil liberties, and it affects Houston's poorest communities.
The group will attend the City Council tomorrow and again on Tuesday, October 7th. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from Cabo Bob's, Southwestern-style burritos, now with 2 locations in Austin, 500 East Benway Boulevard and 2828 Rio Grande Boulevard. Find them online, cabobobs.com. And support comes from Sovereign Living, a podcast, blog, and reality show about what it takes to live a voluntary and natural life. Check out the blog at sovereignliving.com and watch episode 1 of the soon-to-be-released reality show at sovereignliving.tv. This is the Liberty Beat for Monday, September 29th, 2014. Check out the website at thelibertybeat.com and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/thelibertybeat. Texans for Accountable Government will be hosting a city council candidate forum and meet and greet this evening. The highly contested city council election is the first since the public voted for single-member districts in Austin. It's also the first council election to take place in November. There are several Liberty candidates on the ballot challenging non-Liberty incumbents. This evening from 6 until 9 o'clock, the public will have the opportunity to meet the candidates and ask the tough questions. The event will be held at Sherlock's Baker Street Pub on Research Boulevard from 6 to 9. More information at tagtexas.org. On October 9th, the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission will hold a public meeting on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. The commission will host a panel which will examine Bitcoin and the possible creation of a derivatives market for the popular cryptocurrency. The CFTC is an independent federal agency that regulates futures and options markets. 13 schools from the Houston Independent School District are now offering children the opportunity to participate in yoga programs as an alternative exercise course. The classes are part of a grant from the nonprofit Sonema Foundation, which reportedly donated at least $360,000 to HISD. The 45-minute classes include breathing exercises, yoga poses, and lessons in mindfulness. The schools are part of a study being performed by the University of San Diego's Center for Education Policy and Law. Today's edition of the Liberty Beat is brought to you by Brave New Books, your source for One World Way, tangy tangerine, and clearly filtered fluoride filters. Located in Austin, Texas at 1904 Guadalupe Street or online at bravenewbookstore.com. This is the Liberty Beat for Monday, September 29th, 2014. I'm Brian Hagan reporting, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Showing you who's behind the curtain, pushing the buttons and pulling the handles. Live from behind enemy lines in FEMA Region 9. Sharing the truth, one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network. Hey, folks, this is the Views Expressed live right here on the Free America Radio Network for the 29th of September 2014. How y'all doing? You doing good? It's Monday. I know. Monday sucks, right? How's your Monday going? Folks, I'll tell you. Free America Radio on Facebook. Let's go to the Wayne S. Pierce Show on Facebook as well. And because I have a few more over there, a few more articles I'd like to talk to you about. I think, well, I guess not. Well, okay, let's do this, folks. Let's go to the go-to site, Drudge Report online, drudgereport.com. And let's just say, California, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing? I grew up in California, and I know that politics pretty well. But I got to tell you, the citizens, they're not too bright. Not all of them. There's a few of them that are really, intelligent. And they try to do the best they can. But there's too few of them because they've just opened up the freaking borders, let the Mexicans in, let everybody in, and then they give away stuff, and then, yeah. That's what they do. And, well, I'm going to take a little break here in a few minutes. But I got to tell you, California is in the freaking hole. And it just, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm biased, if you will. A little biased because I was born and raised there. Okay, I'm just a little biased. But there's some idiots living in California. Specifically in the state capitol, in the governor's mansion. I don't know what his deal is, but this man has got to go. Sacramento.cbslocal.com. Brown vetoes bill limiting drone surveillance. Okay, just saying. Just saying. It's in the oven. Out of all the bad stuff that he's done, this, I think, is one of the better things that he's done. But It's always an alternative, or there's always an, well, he has an agenda. Okay. Governor Brown has vetoed a bill that would have placed, catch those words, that would have placed strict limits on law enforcement agencies using unmanned aerial drones for surveillance. Would have placed. You need to hold on to that in your head. The governor's office announced that the bill was one of more than a dozen pieces of legislation he vetoed Sunday. AB 1327, a Republican Assembly Jeff Gorel of Camarillo, I don't know, would have required government agencies to get warrants before conducting surveillance with drones and would have required that they publicly announce their intent to buy and use them. It was passed by the legislation in the last days of its session last month. Brown said in a statement that the bill appears to be too narrow and could go beyond what the state and federal constitutions would prohibit. Quote, there are undoubtedly circumstances where a warrant is appropriate, he wrote. The bill's, quote, the bill's exception, however, appear to be too narrow and would impose requirements beyond what is required by either the Fourth Amendment or the privacy provisions of the California Constitution. So thank you very much to CBS News in Sacramento. So it's too limiting because of the limitations of the federal constitution and state constitution and the Fourth Amendment and all that. Would have been. Okay. So my question is, it's a real simple question, very simple question. Why would a governor who has purposely driven California into the crapper do one good thing if he did not have an agenda? Okay. Seriously, folks. Okay. And here's another problem. Hey, Wisconsin, wake your asses up. What the hell are you people doing up there? Fox11online.com reports Mexican consulate brings ID services to Wisconsin. What? I know, it's probably no big deal, right? It's from the Associated Press. Wisconsin officials are working to better serve the rapidly growing Hispanic community in the state with a little help from the Mexican consulate in Chicago. Well, if you wouldn't open up the damn borders, we wouldn't have that problem. A mobile version of the Chicago-based office issued passports and consular identification cards to hundreds of Mexican nationals at the Appleton Church last week. See, they all come in, they all go to the churches and then, declare asylum and then boom, boom, boom. Yeah, because the churches are sanctuaries, by the way, if you didn't know that already. The mobile version of the Chicago-based office issued passports and consular identification cards to hundreds of Mexican nationals at the Appleton Church last week. Post-Crescent Media reported about 800 people took advantage of the services at First English Lutheran Church from last Wednesday to Saturday, according to Alfredo Gomez Sepulveda, coordinator for the consulate's mobile program. Okay, I'm going to put this up on the Free America Radio Facebook page because that's an interesting story. And you can read the rest of it by clicking on the link. Now, is that a bad thing or is that a good thing? Let's see. We wouldn't have to do that if you would close the damn border. Well, I know. The other argument would be the American Indians are probably telling all the white people and all the Mexicans and all the, Asians, hey, this is our country, get the hell out. Who invaded who? So good point they have, huh? It's a good point, right? So anyway. Okay. What else, folks, on Drudge Report? Let's go to Drudge Report, okay? I'm still there at Drudge Report. All right. American military to quickly ramp up Ebola mission in Liberia. Yeah, bring those troops home and spread that crap everywhere, eh? Telling you. I'm just putting it out there. Hey, you guys decide, all right? President omits from address at Congressional Black Caucus. Oh, who did he piss off now? Breitbart.com. Obama silent on amnesty in address to Congressional Black Caucus dinner. Really? Really? Are you serious? Yeah, I hate it when the browser doesn't work. Weeks before, who wrote this, by the way? Tony Lee, thank you, Tony. Weeks before he will reportedly enact a massive executive amnesty for illegal immigrants, President Barack Obama was silent on immigration when he addressed the Congressional Black Caucus in Phoenix at the Phoenix Award Dinner on Saturday evening in Washington, D.C. Critics of amnesty, like U.S. Civil Rights Commissioner Peter Kirsanow, have warned that granting work permits to millions of more illegal immigrants would have a disparate impact on black workers trying to move up the economic ladder. The black unemployment rate is 11.2%, and the record number of blacks are not even in the workforce. Like former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin and Senator Jeff Sessions, Republican of Alabama, Obama conceded that the Americans of all races and backgrounds have been struggling in this economy. Duh. Quote, our work is not done when working Americans of all races have seen their wages and incomes stagnant, even as corporate profits soar. When African American unemployment is still twice as high as white unemployment, when income inequality on the rise for decades continues to hold back hardworking communities, especially communities of color, unquote, Obama told the audience, quote, we've got unfinished work and we know what to do. That's the worst part. We know what to do, unquote. So I'll put that one on the Free America Radio Facebook page. You can read the rest of that as well. Folks, I don't know. I don't know what's worse. Well, I think two things are worse. One, the people that voted him back into office in 2012. And secondly, what he's doing to this country. But, hey, that's just my opinion. That's just... Anyway. Let's go to... I got a few minutes before the bottom of the hour break. Let's go to Reuters.com. Okay, stocks fall, bonds rise on Hong Kong unrest. Yeah, citizens in Hong Kong are pissed off. Because, Hong Kong protesters defy Beijing. Tens of thousands of pro-democracy protesters blocked Hong Kong streets in the early hours of Tuesday, which is tomorrow, maintaining pressure on China as it faces one of its biggest political challenges since Tiananmen Square crackdown 25 years ago. Yeah. They want democracy. Yeah. Okay. Good luck with that. Australian counter-terrorism police raid Melbourne properties. Terrorists all over the place, folks. They're here in the U.S., they're in England, they're in Canada, they're in Australia. They're all over. Exclusive. New York targets Commerce Bank employees in sanctions accord. Oh, how about this one? Secret Service director faces grilling over security breaches. Hello? Yeah, the guy. Remember that guy? Jumping the fence? Going right up to the door of the White House? Hey, it's our house. Why? If I was president, I would have just had my security people stand there and invite them in. You want dinner? Are you hungry? Hey, grab something to eat. It's your house. You paid for it. Probably that wouldn't have gone over well, but, U.S. may keep secret prisoners in custody. What? What? Excuse me? Kabul. The fate of a group of prisoners held in a near total secrecy by U.S. forces at a prison in Afghanistan is hanging in limbo as Washington gropes for options after its legal right to hold them expires in December. Oh, by the way, did you know there was a volcano explosion in Japan? Yeah, like they don't have enough problems with Fukushima blowing the crap up? Okay. Hiker films harrowing escape from volcano. Hikers near the summit of Japan's Mount Ontake, I think that's how you pronounce it, filmed their own harrowing escape on Saturday's eruption, recording the tense minutes of volcano debris raining down on the roof of their shelter. And 36 are feared dead. No, they're not feared dead. They are. It came out. 36 dead on Japan volcano because some people were up on the hill when it exploded. Okay. Just saying, what the hell are you doing camping on top of a volcano? That's just stupid. U.S. Supreme Court votes 5-4 to delay start of early Ohio voting. Congress vote on campaign against Islamic State could lag till 2015. When the president says he's going to take care of it himself because he has a pen and a phone. Interesting. New documents show legal basis for NSA surveillance program. Folks, you might as well just get used to the fact that we're going to be surveilled, okay? And you better start doing things to prepare yourself to defend yourself against that surveillance. God. Oh, and if that's not enough, folks, Supreme Court meets to consider taking gay marriage cases. Oh, like that's big news. Seriously. Obama voices confidence Democrats can keep control of the U.S. Senate. I doubt that very seriously. That's in Washington. From Brussels, U.S. trade pack in spotlight has new EU Commission faces grilling. Yeah. Washington, U.S. lawmakers urge congressional action to back Obama's Syrian war. What? I thought he already had the backing. Interesting. Washington, Obama, U.S. intelligence underestimated militants in Syria. Why? Why did they underestimate them? They funded them. Dumbasses. Prospect from Washington. Prospect of tighter White House security touches nerve in Washington. What? Let me read that again. Prospect of tighter White House security touches nerve in Washington. Excuse me? I'm going to protect my house, but my neighbor's going to be pissed off because I'm protecting my house. What? I have to laugh or else I just go completely out of my freaking mind. Seriously. U.S. Supreme Court votes 5-4 to delay start of early voting in Ohio. Yeah, they were talking about that a couple of weeks ago. Let me run down the list. This is over at Reuters.com under the Supreme Court, under politics, under Supreme Court. Let me just read these headlines, okay? Supreme Court meets to consider taking gay marriage cases. Okay. U.S. Appeals Court puts gay marriages on hold in Indiana. Okay. Wisconsin, Indiana asked U.S. justices to hear gay marriage cases. All right. Oh, hey. Something different. UK government lends hand to BP and U.S. Gulf oil spill rulings. Okay. Federal district judge upholds Louisiana ban on gay marriage. What? Gay marriage cases await early decision by the U.S. Supreme Court. Excuse me? Oh, wait. This might be another... it might be a different headline. New Hampshire men sentences teens to life in prison, granted new hearings. Oh, that's kind of cool. They get new hearings. Yay. Oh, in Miami, Florida, appeals court says state can rule on gay marriage ban. What? It was like 3 actual headlines there. Okay. Just saying. Just putting it out there. You can decide for yourself. Just putting it out there. Okay. I don't know, folks. I don't know. It's just... seriously. You're worried about Kim Kardashian's ass, who's dancing with the stars, and gay marriage. What? Fukushima blew up. 4 of the nuclear reactors are total, well, 2 of them anyway, are in total meltdown into the ground. Pacific Ocean is full of radiation. Let's see, a volcano blew up in Japan. Let's see, we have another shooting within the unrest in Ferguson, Missouri. Let's see, what else? And the Supreme Court is taking on gay marriage. Okay. See how screwed up this country is? Oh, if that's not enough, new documents show legal basis for NSA surveillance program. Nate Raymond and Aruna Viswanathan. I know, weird name. Thank you, guys. Documents released by the U.S. government show it views an executive order issued in 1981 as the basis of most of the National Security Agency surveillance activities, the American Civil Liberties Union said on Monday. The NSA relied on Executive Order 12333 more than it did on 2 other laws that have been the focus of public debate following the leaks exposing U.S. surveillance programs by former agency contractor Edward Snowden, according to the papers released by the ACLU. The ACLU obtained the documents after filing a lawsuit last year seeking information in connection with this order, which it said the NSA was using to collect vast amounts of data worldwide, quote-unquote, inevitably, including communications of U.S. citizens. The order, signed in 1981 by President Ronald Reagan, was intended to give the government broad authority over surveillance of international targets. On the one of the documents obtained was a 2007 NSA manual citing the executive order as, quote, the primary source of NSA's foreign intelligence gathering authority, unquote. A legal fact sheet on the memo produced the June 2013, 2 weeks after Snowden's disclosure, said the NSA relied on the executive order for the majority of its activities involving intelligence gathering through signals interception. Alex Abdo, an ACLU staff attorney, said in a blog post published on Monday that the documents, quote, confirm that the order, although not the focus of the public debate, actually governs most of the NSA's spying, unquote. Quote, Congress's reform efforts have not addressed the executive order, and the bulk of the government's disclosures in response to the Snowden revelations have conspicuously ignored the NSA's extensive mandate order under EO 12333, unquote, Abdo wrote. Yeah, I'll put this on Free America Radio Facebook page. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to end the show. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, I got some things to do to catch up on, kind of getting, behind on some stuff. This happens, okay? Okay, that article is posted up on Free America Radio. So I'm going to get out of here in just about a minute and a half. So if you want to get a hold of me, got questions, comments, concerns, please, even if you disagree with me, it's okay. I'm fine with that. You can email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. You can go to the website and contribute to Free America Radio Network if you want to. Yes, you can get your emergency food supply right there at the top of the page by clicking the link. You can sponsor the show if you'd like. That would be fantastic. Or you can donate. Yes, I do take PayPal and Bitcoin, although I may not be taking Bitcoin much longer after what I heard. Yes, they're trying to turn Bitcoin into, the money that we have now and derivatives and a whole bunch of other things. So that's not going to look good for Bitcoin. So, folks, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to get out of here. We're going to go away now. And as soon as I get the right right exit music, we're going to get out of here. Remember this, folks. We the people have the power. For we are America.